Hello everybody, Osk here. Today I'll be reviewing the most recent design mega collab hosted by Viprin, Cybernetic Crescent. Its first preview came out in late 2019 and it was finally verified by Technical this week. I'll be going through all of the parts as well as an overview at the end. I will put timestamps on the description so that you don't get lost and can know what I'm talking about. Probably all of the footage in this video is by just a GD player. I'll link the channel in the description. This video would review the decoration only since I'm not very skilled at the game, but luckily I had help from NoobLookinPro, a skilled player that sent me his thoughts on the gameplay. Shout out to him. His channel will be in the description, so check him out and give him some support. Firstly, I'll quickly show NoobLookingPro's thoughts on the gameplay overall, then I'll move on to the decoration. Also, please bear with me, I'm not English, so there might be some pronunciation mistakes, so I hope you don't mind that much. According to NoobLookingPro, the gameplay is unbalanced. The first 30% isn't that hard, and gets a big difficulty spike, starting at Nasgubb. Most of it is pretty enjoyable, but some parts like Serponge and Vlacc were just weird and edged him off the first time playing. The experience might be different for others, but he thinks the gameplay could have overall been better. Though some parts like TheDevon do provide a fun challenge, along with parts like Hinds, they are fair and don't rely on gimmicks or unfair timings as much. Starting on the first part by Codex, we have a pretty solid color scheme that actually works quite well. It uses different shades of blue as the main colors, having shades of desaturated red and orange as secondary colors, which is a pretty common color scheme that was used pretty well in this part. While the block design is simple, clean, and well executed, there are lots of things that are lacking in this part. Starting with the air decoration, I think the part could have a bit more to it. It has just a few arrows and sometimes a few pulsing circles that have really low opacity, which makes them almost unnoticeable. For that, I'd say it needs more air decoration. Maybe some more arrows or just more pulsing details would fill some empty space in it. The part also lacks in depth, having a pretty mediocre background depth-wise. Don't get me wrong, it looks very good, but as I said, it's super plain and makes the part feel pretty plain as well. It's also a bit repetitive, which is something negative, especially for a short part. Overall, the colors and designs are good and the part is clean, but it could have more air deco and more depth. Moving to Shocksidian's part, we have a very design heavy part, with an outdated feeling and, I'll dare saying, almost obsolete designs. Although that's understandable since it's a level that has been on the works since 2019 or maybe even sooner. The colors on the part aren't very appealing and only contribute to the 2.0 feeling it has because of the designs. It also doesn't use don't fade and don't enter, which I think is something essential to levels today. Don't get me wrong, the fadings can look quite nice when used correctly, but this isn't the case. It just makes it look a bit messy and unpolished. Something that I also see as essential is the removal of the glow on the structures. It rarely looks decent and also contributes to the messiness. The saw blade decoration isn't too bad, but it's pretty simple. While the pulsing objects give some kind of dynamics to the part, it's super static and it could definitely have more to it. It just feels a bit boring and outdated when compared to the part before it. Rustam's part is quite interesting design-wise, and I'd say the best out of the three first parts. The designs are well executed and the colors are pretty cool, but sadly the part has no backgrounds at all and it feels super plain. I wish that the effort used on the design was the same on the background. Even though the part is clean, it needed some depth as well. As I mentioned in the last part, the glow should also be turned off. FerdeFunky's part has great colors and designs, as well as a good amount of depth. Almost everything moves, which is something I really appreciate and makes the part really dynamic as well. I'd like to see some pulsing effects and more ground detail, but that's pretty much what I have to say. It's a really good part, but it resembles Ferde's work in other levels too much in my opinion. Oh, Galvatron's part. The colors, designs, depth, the details, backgrounds, designs, pretty much everything is on point. Though it's closer to modern rather than design style, the part is an absolute banger and possibly my favorite. The main issue with it is that it doesn't work too well with the other parts, but this issue is also seen in many others. Still, I really love the part. Nasgubb's part is a banger as well, having good color combinations, but I think some of the designs are too empty and the part feels a bit too static. Other than that, the part is really good and has some quite interesting Easter eggs with a different alphabet. I like the bright yellow details on the part, since those have good contrast with the part itself, which is just pretty dark as a whole. Oh boy, Viprin's part. Despite what many would say, I actually enjoyed Viprin's part a lot visually. It definitely isn't the best on the level personally, but it looks overall decent in my opinion. I like the ground spike details and the orb and portal decoration a lot. Something I don't really like is how the glow is turned on the structures, that as I mentioned before should be turned off. The block design is super empty, but the colors on the part are good. It's also important to mention Enzore made some work on the part as well, it being the effects in it. Though I could be wrong about that since I haven't heard it from Viprin directly. Overall the part is decent but a bit repetitive and empty on the designs. The drops here and Samifying has it. Despite that part looking overall good and having good colors, I can't just get over the fact that it looks exactly like one part in his level Sedulous, and probably many other collab parts. That really made me like the part less than I should, because even though it looks great, it just feels repetitive and it's basically the same thing Samifying already made in many levels. It's dynamic and has good pulsing, fitting the drop nicely, but the style is too bright and doesn't fit the rest overall in my opinion. Vlacc's part reminds me of Alkali's style a lot and a bit of Rafer's. I hadn't seen any works from this creator that I remember, which makes me surprised since the part is actually pretty cool. It has cool designs and I really like the air deco. It feels a bit outdated, but the colors and designs are overall good and pretty appealing with the pulsing. TheDevon's part might be the most confusing looking in my opinion. I'm not exactly sure about what is gameplay and what is decoration since there's a lot of fakes, but still, no matter how confusing the gameplay might look, the part looks quite clean considering the gameplay. The designs are really empty though, being mostly just black blocks. The colors and pulsing effects are really cool though. I don't know what is happening in the part, but it definitely looks cool. Now, Serponge's part. It's a masterpiece. It looks insanely good, unique and has great effects. It's really dynamic and has some depth as well. I don't have anything to complain honestly, it's just very pleasing looking at it. Hinds' part uses a pretty nice color scheme, using shades of grey and one secondary color, which can work really well if executed the right way. In this case it works, but sadly the designs are really repetitive and the parts feels really copy and pasted. The designs are also pretty outdated, but still the part looks nice overall. I think it also needed some movement as it feels really static. Moving to the last part, we have Terron's part. I'm a fan of Terron's works because of how unique they are. Even though it does look quite outdated, the designs are really good and colors are interesting as well. The final part is indeed a really nice ending to the level, having just white designs at the very end making it slowly fade to the end screen. Speaking of the end screen, the one in this level is absolutely bonkers. The text animation and the planet art is insanely good and it's overall really well executed. FerdeFunky and Zal's PR did a very good job in it. So, the level overall is a pretty cool design mega collab. But despite being hosted by Viprin, it still would be just another design mega collab if it wasn't for really good parts like Serponge's and Galvatron's. The issue is, those parts aren't really design styled and just feel out of place just like many other parts. A lot of parts don't work together, while some do really nicely, making the level feel inconsistent in quality. From all of the parts, I would pick Galvatron's as my favorite, as I have basically nothing to complain about it. Something I found really disappointing was Samifying's part just being a Sedulous copy and paste. As I said, the part is really good, but the fact that it's the same as other levels by the same creator makes me like it less. Anyways, all of the creators did a really good job in this, and I would give the whole level a 7.5 out of 10. There's a lot of people complaining and a lot of people that got disappointed with the level, and I can see why, but in my opinion, even though some parts are definitely better than others and some don't fit at all, the level is still really good. My main issue would be the inconsistency, but the visuals are overall pleasant enough. I would say this level could get an epic rating for the fact it looks really nice, and according to Second Cold, the Verifier, the gameplay is really fun. Also, the big names in the level make it get a lot of clout, which I think also helps. Anyways, I really hope you enjoyed this video. It took me hours just to write the script and a long time to record and edit all together, so I would really appreciate if you liked, shared, and maybe even subscribe to my channel if you liked it. It would truly help a lot, and I genuinely appreciate all of you for watching. Thank you all again, I hope to see you soon. Have a good one. Thank you.